Respect isn't something children magically develop as they grow. It's something they learn through experience, through how we speak to them, how we guide them, and how we model behavior in our everyday interactions. Raising respectful kids doesn't begin with strict rules or perfect manners. It begins with connection, empathy, and healthy boundaries. A child who respects others is usually a child who feels respected themselves. And a child who respects themselves, who believes they are worthy, capable, and valued, naturally treats others with that same sense of dignity. The foundation of respect is self-worth. Kids who feel good about who they are, safe, loved, and accepted, don't need to dominate, belittle, or hurt others to feel powerful. They don't need to shout to be heard. They don't need to demand their way to feel important. Self-worth gives a child an inner steadiness that becomes the anchor for respectful behavior. You nurture self-worth through consistent warmth, validation, and unconditional love. Every time you tell your child, "I love you no matter what," or "your feelings matter," or "you are enough," you reinforce a sense of value that will shape their relationships for life. Respect also starts with empathy, the ability to understand another person's feelings. Children are not born with fully developed empathy, but they are born with the capacity for it. It grows when we model it in our interactions with them. When a child cries and you respond, "I can see how upset you are," you are teaching empathy. When you validate their fear, disappointment, or anger, even while holding boundaries, you teach them what empathy feels like. And as they experience empathy, they learn to extend it to others. A practical way to nurture empathy is through emotional labeling. When you help your child name their feelings, "You're feeling frustrated," "You seem sad," "You're excited," you are actually wiring their brain for emotional understanding. Once a child can recognize their own emotions, they become better at recognizing emotions in other people. You can also model empathy in everyday life by noticing others. "That boy looks sad, maybe he fell," or "Your sister seems frustrated, how can we help?" Kids learn empathy through these micro moments of awareness. But empathy alone isn't enough. Respect also grows through teaching boundaries, both respecting others' boundaries and creating their own. Many parents misunderstand boundaries as being rigid or controlling. But boundaries are really about clarity, safety, and respect. Kids need to know how to say no. They need to know that their body belongs to them. They need to understand that they don't have to give hugs or high fives if they're uncomfortable. Teaching kids to assert boundaries is not rude, it's healthy. You might say, "You can say, 'No thank you,' if you don't want a hug." Or, "If someone makes you uncomfortable, you can walk away and tell me." When children learn to protect their own boundaries, they become better at respecting others' boundaries too. Part of raising respectful kids is teaching them how to disagree respectfully. Respect isn't about blind obedience. Kids will challenge rules, express strong opinions, and sometimes push limits. That's normal. The goal is not to eliminate disagreement, but to teach healthy communication. You might model language like, "I hear what you're saying, and I see it differently," or "You're allowed to feel upset. Let's talk about it calmly." When kids see respectful disagreement modeled at home, they carry those skills into friendships, classrooms, and future relationships. Another essential piece is strong, consistent behavior modeling. Children absorb far more from what we do than what we say. If we shout to be heard, they learn shouting is how you gain power. If we speak with kindness, they learn kindness is strength. If we apologize when we're wrong, they learn humility. If we treat service workers, teachers, and family members with respect, they learn respect is universal, not selective. Equally important is helping children practice repair when mistakes happen. Kids will be unkind sometimes. They will push boundaries. They will say things they don't mean. Mistakes are inevitable, but respectful behavior grows through the process of repair. Teach your child to reflect on their actions and make things right. Not through forced apologies, but through genuine understanding. How do you think they felt? What could we do to fix this? This helps children develop accountability, not shame. Another way to build respect is through responsibility and contribution. When kids help at home, setting the table, feeding a pet, cleaning up toys, they learn they are part of a team. Contribution builds empathy and reduces entitlement. It also teaches them to respect shared spaces and shared responsibilities. Helping kids respect others also means teaching perspective-taking. Simple questions can spark this skill. How would you feel if that happened to you? What do you think your friend wanted when they said that? What could you do to make this situation better? Perspective-taking transforms impulsive reactions into thoughtful responses. Finally, raising kids who respect themselves and others requires a home that models respect every day. In tone, in boundaries, in discipline, and in communication. Respect doesn't grow from fear or harshness. It grows from connection, consistency, and compassion. When children feel safe, valued, and understood, they naturally extend that same respect outward. Respect is not a lesson you teach once. It is a culture you build over years. And through your patience, modeling, and guidance, you're raising a child who not only respects themselves and others now, but will continue to carry those values into their future relationships, workplaces, and communities.